I better show you before first, shouldn't I? This is what it was like before. And now, check that out. Guys, a few videos ago, I had this Fayee FY003-5A whatever. And I absolutely loved how it looked. Really nice satin black. And I put it side by side with the Fayee I bought a couple of years ago. There's a different body color without all the trim on it. And that thing was awesome. Really, really nice control. A very good, cheap crawler. The electronics on this one completely let it down. They've changed something on it and now it's absolute shit. In this video, we're gonna make this loads better and it's not gonna cost a lot. I'm gonna show you how to do it step by step. So disclaimer, depending on what parts you use and if you've got any spares will depend on the cost. For me, for a cost of a cheap ESC for like, I think it's $10, which, well, the way the pound in the UK is going at the moment, it's about £10, but $10 ESC, I'm going to use one of my Dumbo RC transmitters and receivers. I've got loads of them. So for me, it's a very cheap upgrade that could make this really good. For you, if you have to buy a transmitter receiver, that's going to cost you probably another 30, so price is going to slowly rise. Good news is on AliExpress, I've seen these for $50 to $60, which is a very good price. So the first thing I do is remove the body. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws. Now disclaimer number 2, because this has so many lights on it and they're all incorporated in the electronics, it's not going to be simple to get them working. Just to get front lights and rear lights, that won't be too bad, but to get like the flashing lights on there and your turn signals, which actually I removed anyway, it's not going to be too simple. But anyway, whip this off as well, 2 screws. Just realised it's got a 5-wire servo. 5-wire servos, although they work okay, 3-wire gives you way more options. But don't panic too much. These little JX ones, they're exactly the same size, they're metal geared, they're 3-wire, and you can get them on AliExpress pretty cheap. I will put a link in the description. So we'll throw that in there, pull the electronics out, pull the servo out. That is your motor going in there. Pretty self-explanatory. Obviously your servo's going in there, but we don't need that. And that is everything off. Once you've taken this top cover off the servo, you should be able to lift the servo out enough to get a screwdriver in there, and then you can just take that servo horn off. So this is a little 2S ESC from WPL, and I've seen really good things about it. So one, obviously this video is about upgrading this, but this video is also for me to test this out because I think it's going to be really good. Now the only downside is if you haven't got a soldering iron, that's for the motor and it's a different plug than the one that's on there. So to get the motor fitted, you're going to have to do some soldering. Now I'm going to say something that some of you are going to go, what? If you really wanted to, now bearing in mind I used to be an aircraft electrician, I never done this on aircraft, but if you really need to, if you strip enough of the cable back on here and you strip enough of the cable back on there and you twist it together nice and tight and then you put some electrical tape around it, it'll be fine. Or at least it'll be good enough. I know, such a cowboy.
The carol's coming! Ring out the church bells! Strike up the band!
So that is going to fit, oh, pretty much perfectly in there. My receiver, I reckon, will probably fit in there. Let me go and find it. So we've got everything in. If you're upgrading one of these, then you can just about squeeze the ESC and the receiver in that little space there. You may be upgrading something that's slightly different to this. You just need to get a bit creative. You might have to cut a few bits and pieces. I've trimmed a little bit off that, so it fits over the top. Also snipped a little bit of the plastic off there. But other than that, it's all gone in well. So I've had a play about the lights. I've got the front ones and the roof ones. The roof ones no longer do all their different fancy stuff. I think that was probably part of that electronics. But for some reason, my rears aren't working. Probably because I've tried to squeeze all the cables into one. I made a separate one for the roof one. That's the connector kit I use. Just a crimping tool like that. Comes with pins and sockets. And then a different selection of stuff in here. These are your normal servo ones. You've got some twin ones and then some big boys. You can get these off Amazon, eBay, AliExpress. I'll leave a link to that in the description. It's relatively easy to use. Can be a little bit fiddly, but plugged it in, it's working. The wheels are going the right way. So I'm going to put the body on and I'm going to show you how much better this thing is now. Good way to remember which channel's which on here. 1 to turn, 2 to burn. So 1 for your steering, 2 for your ESC. 2 to burn doesn't mean it's going to set light. Well, hopefully it's not going to set light. 1 to turn, 2 to burn. all ready to go. Headlights, roof lights, a little bit annoyed me rear lights don't work, but check this out. I better show you a before first, shouldn't I? This is what it was like before. And now, check that out. It's still a little bit noisy. A lot of that noise comes from the body. When I tested it without the body on, it wasn't that noisy. So a lot of the noise, the electronic noise, sort of resonates through the hard body, but really nice modulation. Look at that. On the ESC, there's a little tab that you can do between brake and no brake. So this has got no brake, so it's in crawler mode. So it's literally just forward and then straight reverse. And then you got that really nice drag brake. Look at that. Just nice, slow descent there with that drag brake. And then bring it off like that. I didn't try the other mode, but I presume it's just that normal forward brake reverse that you get a conventional kind of setup. I want to try and stop that back end from drooping, so we're going to take it out for a run now anyway and test out our new electronics. Got to mention, new servo, look, lovely and smooth. Now, I'm not expecting these manufacturers to throw the upgrades I've thrown in, but honestly, it wouldn't be hard. A little bit of work, a little bit of pride in your product, and you could make something that's really capable. You'll probably find the actual cost of this, not retail, would probably only put this at about $100, I reckon. They'd sell so many more if it was controllable like this.